Hello and welcome to my second battle of the Napoleon Total War Winter Cup. This was part of the matchup against Team 1, so Teodor&Dyna. They have the defender side and by that picked the map, which is Prussian hills. And yeah, the winning zone is here in the middle. So they need to get up the hill, we need to get up the hill, and we need to destroy their forces in that winning zone within 40 minutes. They have rather better nations for this competition on this map here due to their nation picking before. And this game decides who will win our matchup, since we have Athos and me, who are on the attacker side here, won 2 games, the first and the second, and they won the third on Salamanca province. And yeah, they will decide if they can tie or if we win the whole matchup by 3-1, which will decide probably who goes into knockout stage after the group phase. So we have Ottoman Empire for Dina in this game with 2 swords and 8 cavalry. 6 of them are mounted Nizami Jadid shooter cavalry. Yes, 2 Sipahi cavalry and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Nizami Jadid infantry and Ibrahim Pasha. Theodor uses Sweden, so another shooter cav nation with 6 shooter cav, a classic general staff, a lot of lines, and 4 lifeguard foot, and a force of 1, 2 militias. Yeah, so this is quite a problematic situation we are in now, since they have definitely the upper hand in cavalry, and also we need to engage more or less in melee combat, or not in melee combat but in close distance fighting the Ottoman Empire with swords on a hill. So this is very problematic. We chose our last shooter cav nation, which is Russia here, for position 2. We expected them to have Ottomans on position 1 actually, but yeah, they obviously decided for playing it on position 2. And yeah, we have so Athos has 6 mounted rifles here himself, 1 musketeer, 1 lifeguard, only 1 light infantry, namely the 17th Jaeger Regiment, which is pretty good for Russia. Another lifeguard, another musketeer unit, another musketeer unit, musketeers, lifeguard, musketeers, musketeers, lifeguard. So many lifeguards, I think 4 of them, and musketeers. No Semyonovsky lifeguard, since he doesn't know if he will, or he didn't know if he will engage them in melee, or if he has to rely on shooting stats. So yeah, and a classic general staff. I have our last remaining light infantry nation for this battle, and have 4 cavalry, the classic mix of Brandenburg, Uhlans, Towachis, and lances, and 3 guard infantry and 4 light infantry and some musketeers. So I included once again a foot guard into my formation here on the left, in the middle, and on the right. I have 2 musketeers here for the right flank to push in this forest, And yeah, of course I knew that Sweden has the cavalry advantage, so I will not engage my cavalry in the cavalry fight. But I want to lure his cavalry onto my infantry and then countercharge and use more units to like my light infantry. You can see my formation here. I want in the beginning, for example, to come the Swedish cavalry to come over that ridge to attack my infantry squares and then shoot it from this position. We will see how this works out. Athos units come here, and he concentrates all his 6 Schülerkampf in the middle, since this is rather not such a good spot for shootouts from cavalry. Theodor has 3 guards Schülerkampf here and 3 in the middle. I retreated my lancers and opened fire, or at least gave target orders with my light infantry after making him shoot at the bottom, and I get a volley off on the mounted Jägers here, and the players in position 2 engaged over here. The Sipai did a flank attack and now charge through the Jägers from Russia, and using the better melee stats of the Russian Schülerkampf, the Athos sent them into melee, but should probably have retreated by now into his own squares and lure the enemy cavalry in instead of staying in melee such a long time, and especially since the Sipai cavalry charged into his rear. So now he has saved 1 mounted rifles for later use and retreats the remnants of his attack force. Over here, I don't have cavalry up here yet, since I avoided the cavalry fight in the beginning. We have squares from my side forced and enforced by the mounted Jägers from Theodor. He wants to shoot at my squares, which is not possible from this perspective. We see it because he is too far away and I'm behind the edge of the hill. I am shooting at his stationary life guards of foot over here, and already killed 30 of his 20 of his first lifeguard, while his other lifeguard is shooting the hill from down here. But he prepared this force to push as soon as he has time. Athos unfortunately shoots with his mounted rifles from behind against his own squares here. That's very important to always turn fire at will off in such a position, and has squares from his Russian musketeers and lifeguards here. He is still on the ridge, but the terrain is kind of tricky here in the middle, and he needs to get up here again, or just hold that ridge until the swords come in and then retreat, probably, since he will not be able to fight off the swords in this position. But we will see about that. So I do the same as Theodor. I send my lances here to make him form square, and I have a bad but not completely useless position with my units here. Actually, I do not open fire with my guard. No, now I do. Okay. I countercharge the mounted Jägers before they reach my squares again, And yeah, I mean, Theodore did a very good job in enforcing squares again and again, but now this is prevented by my lenses for the moment, and I'm still shooting at his lifeguard, which is down to 50 men. So this is a grand mistake by Theodore that he did not react. I don't know why. He has not that much to micro, but lucky for me. And yeah, we see a charge by the mounted Jaegers on my guard infantry, which obviously does not form square. But the casualties were not that high. Lucky for me. This is no Lancer cavalry. Okay, I enforce squares again with my depleted lances, and we have a double line here, actually a triple line, what the hell, from Athos units, lifeguards and musketeers here against the Nizamidjadid infantry, and the Jaegers actually have a very nice spot here. They unfortunately they fire at the wrong unit. They should have targeted this one. Probably a clicking mistake. But still, they can do a lot of damage here. But yeah, we see the swords arrived on the top of the hill. Over here, both of them are defensive, and squares are being forced. And yeah, from both sides. Unfortunately, Athos is still shooting his back with his Jaegers, his mounted rifles, but the Ottoman cavalry does not get such a good charge either. For now, the situation is more or less stable here in the middle. I sent back my light infantry. I was retreating them because I saw the mounted rifles coming here and was scared that they push to this side. I countercharged the next mounted rifles with my Tuwachis here in the middle. He reduced my numbers quite good over here, so that's bad for me. I again was scared that he just pulls through my musketeers on my light infantry. That's why I'm always running here. And over here, the two swords attack from the hill at the same time, and this creates huge problems for Athos now, whose line is under heavy attack from above. I'm sending one Prussian Fusiliers in light formation here, so they don't get shot that easily, and want to open fire again here. And while I'm still dealing units against actually men against volleys of Theodore, and we see that Dina's push in the middle is largely successful. We have the swords still around with almost 100 men each, so they did not suffer many casualties so far. I got a charge on the line infantry here and the line infantry here. I think it's a grand mistake for Theodore not to have any guard infantry in his formation in the middle, and all of them are over here. He got a very good shot off on my Tovachis now, but for now it's still nothing. The action over here compared to this side. Dina also pushes over here on the left and forces squares. Athos made all of them. That's quite impressive. But yeah, this Dina will just pull through the square and attack the lifeguard in the rear. And yeah, I think Dina has not lost many units yet. We have the Sipai in our back, and this is the moment now where Theodore's push begins. I'm squaring my units over here. Theodor's cavalry over here attacks as well, my stationary units. I have still my light infantry in reserve, which will open fire now on the cavalry. And I had to retreat from this ridge. The swords are still making kills against the retreating musketeers and lifeguards, but we basically have huge problems on position 2. There's only one lifeguard over here from Athos, and Theodor charged my musketeers and my light infantry, and I tried to stop him from advancing with his line infantry with my lances, but unfortunately they got stuck in the lifeguard square, and I turned, since Theodor does not hit much from his position over here, I turned my musketeers to help Athos retreating his lifeguard, but yeah, obviously the situation is quite desperate for us. I managed to retreat all of my troops. I want to be able to micro this part of the battle, and probably even send troops over here to help Athos get rid of the Ottoman cavalry and maybe even the swords. But my musketeers here are trapped now. I have my light infantry here in the forest, and if Theodor made a continuous push now, this would have been the end. But he is out of cavalry, and this is probably why he stopped pushing. He also doesn't need to, since they are in control of the winning zone. But they have 30 more minutes to hold this winning zone, so destroying my army would have been probably a good idea. And yeah, he sends in for line infantry, since Dina also pushes, and my musketeers and lifeguard of Athos routed over here, but I managed to save my guard infantry and another musketeers, and have stationary units here in the forest. But they do a combined attack now with all troops against this forest. They instead of outflanking me, they decided for double lining over here with the lifeguards, which is clearly, in my opinion, the worst strategy, because they have the upper position, they have the hill, but I have light infantry in the forest covered by the trees, and the distance is quite high. It's not like the maximum range, but yeah, it's still high. I'm destroying the Ottoman line infantry, which is double lining over here, but has no clear chance against my musketeer and foot guard double line, and my Prussian Fusiliers. All of their units are shooting at my Prussian Fusiliers in the front, and I brought my second line of Prussian Fusiliers into the game, and also my second lines of foot guard and musketeers. And yeah, Theodor saw the problem and has moved closer, but he did not send any troops like his militia into melee to stop me from firing. So this is how they lost the situation over here, even with actually having much more units and the hill over here. Dina obviously has control of this forest, and Athos only has some depleted units with very low numbers all over around this forest. Unfortunately, he got a volley into his ranks of the musketeers over here, so nice micromanagement from Dina. And also Dina shoots the 17th regiment, but for some reason does not hit much. and Athos tries to save them and bring them back into my formation, but Theodore does not want to let them. I shoot the line infantry of Sweden, which is shooting at Athos' 17th Jäger Regiment, and I see that we need to do something. They have a lot of forces over here, and not that many in the middle. And I wanted to destroy the Ottoman units, the Ottoman garrison in this forest, and yeah, before they can recombine with their main core of the army over here. But Dinar did not accept the fight. He saw that he will be cut off probably, and in a shootout has a weaker forces for this. And I also have one more Ulan cavalry. This was a threat to the Klimac-Janissaries, so he retreated, and he also managed to retreat. So very bad for my part that I did not stop. Yeah, I was not able to stop him. I thought we could do a combined attack from both two sides on this forest, but this obviously did not work out. And they once again are on the hill, and now Dina brings over his line of infantry he had on the other side, and to support his right flank and his middle. And this would be a very costly attack for us to attack this middle area, with Theodore by any time being able to send more units there. And over here, as I presented earlier, it's quite tricky to do some decisive attack here. And I'd to move all my troops to the center to actually be able to push up here and here together with other small units. So this is why I decided to attack from the right. This is the only possible spot for me to do any damage to their force, since I still have my 4 light infantry with ammunition. I opened fire to the Swedish Life Guard and line infantry over here. So far, I don't not too much impact, because the terrain is in favor of Theodore in that scenario. But yeah, I sent my second Prussian Fusiliers over, and they do not really react at this point to the threat from my light infantry. Only the Life Guard moves down here in the forest to probably flank my Prussian Fusiliers. I still have my foot guard of 74 hidden here in my main forest, and 2 musketeers with pretty high numbers. The militia shot the hill, and I'm opening fire on the Life Guard, which is counting losses. And Theodore pushes together with his flanking unit down here, which has a line of sight on some of my Prussian Fusiliers, but he holds his fire. He wants to shoot my backup line, my musketeers. Unfortunately for him, I have the better position, and did a lot of damage with my 1 volley from the better position here. And so he retreats, and only has 1 last Life Guard with high numbers. This one has 66, and this one has 40. So this is quite good news for me, since the Life Guards are the main threat from the Swedish by now. And I am using the terrain to make him shoot and deal or I'm trying to get a better deal with my units so I can somehow turn the tides. I sent my Brandenburg Uhlans over here. This is our last chance to turn, as I said, the tides for us. He squares both of his lifeguards. I targeted the militia and the line infantry over here, so I spread my lances everywhere in his ranks, and I move up with my musketeers and try to get behind his formation, since this ridge does not allow him to bring up his backup units and reinforcements. And I charged the back of the line infantry, which lost the square. I think, yeah. Uh, no, he didn't lose the square. I'm sorry. And I go back again, and this was the crucial moment in the game, since his morale almost broke from his units here, but they held. Theodore did a very good job in having his general very close, and this did not turn out as I wanted it, and my Brandenburg Uhlans are down to 17 men. I'm under heavy attack by Theodore's reinforcements, and I'm retreating again. My lifeguard is his lifeguard is in ranks of my musketeers in melee. That's something I don't want to happen. I need my morale to survive this. This is why my general staff is very close, and I'm targeting the lifeguard, which is shooting at my general, but now he's in melee again. He's pushing his troops. His lifeguard from the flank came into the middle leg, yeah, um, out of the forest again, and again counts casualties from my musketeers, and I was able to save my 15 Uhlans and some musketeers and the small Prussian Fusilier unit. I have one bigger Fusilier unit with 61 still having ammunition, and I'm shooting at the bigger 103 line infantry of Sweden, and Athos tried to save me, or at least help me with some sneaky shots from the 17th Regiment to Theodore while he is busy on the other side, but unfortunately Theodore saw it and moves closer and gets the volley in, but he doesn't hit that much. And my musketeers over here are out of the game. I still had a rally from my general, but I decided to not use it because this was not such a problematic situation. I'm not sure if these musketeers come back into the game. Probably I should have used it in this situation. And we basically have the same situation now as before, only that I have much less numbers. And Theodore, of course, has lost quite some troops as well. I'm not sure if this was if this really paid off. I think it did not. I used my last cavalry, and it did not what I wanted them to do. I wanted them to break the their flanks morale, and this is definitely something which did not happen. So yeah, they attacked the small units of Lifeguard and 17th Regiment over here and made the Lifeguard flee the battlefield. So this is pretty bad for us. And my Fusiliers over here are out of ammunition. Yeah, I brought my 61 Fusiliers to kind of repeat what I did before. Theodore, lucky for me, shoots my Prussian Fusiliers, which came up here to make him exactly do that. And my Fusiliers are approaching to do as much damage as they can to the Swedish line infantry, and I open fire. Ottoman reinforcement units are incoming, and I have to retreat since Theodore is approaching. He gets some shots off, but they did not kill much. And the Swedish general is incoming, and I form my musketeers over here. Obviously my musketeers, which broke, did not come back into the game, so now very bad for me. And Theodore retreated into this bazaar here, so I have to get very close in order to kill have a line of sight on his troops here, and this would enable him to do a counter attack like he does now. I ordered him to shoot the line infantry over here. And he got some shots off and killed about 10 men. And he retreats again. Both teams play very cautious now, since anything else does decide the game. I mean, they obviously have the winning zone. They have, I think, overall higher numbers, and also more units. But yeah, still there is a chance for us to win the game, especially by slowly grinding them out with my light infantry. And as I said, I managed to save those 15 Brandenburg Uhlans. You could say that's only 15, yeah, but we will see how much damage they will still be able to make. And we said, okay, we need to gain some decisive advantage now, because otherwise we have a problem. We have only 15 minutes, and that's not much anymore. I got a very good shot off on the line of Swedish troops here with my Fusiliers, and I, for some reason, did not retreat anymore. And this is pretty bad now. I got charged from the Swedish general, so my light infantry is out of the game with 29. And he retreated his general staff and did not lose too much, so this is was definitely in their favor this time. Athos said that he wants to push on the left to make them move back troops to their right flank, but he has only 2 musketeers here against higher numbers of the better Nizamidshidid infantry. And I bring my 74 guard infantry up here. This is my last unit which can really threat their formation, and I have only a line of sight on the militia, so I will shoot the militia. This is also a unit I want to disappear, and did a lot of damage to them with this one volley. And I send back my musketeers and foot guards of 45, which are out of ammunition. I want to use them in this area in melee combat, so I can finally destroy their units or divide their forces. But Dina has some 42 Kemachini series on Theodor's left flank here to support him, and this is a real threat to my very weak right here with my two depleted musketeers and my fusiliers which are out of ammunition. I have my other 87 foot guards and other musketeers over here, and I can't let them stay here in the middle doing nothing if I when I want to push up here. So I need all my forces apart from maybe this 40 musketeers in the middle. Theodore once again shooting the ground, luckily for me, and I want to use my fusiliers as a shield for my melee units. Unfortunately, Dina pushed his troops over here and got some shots off on the musketeers before they could shoot back, and also kill the general staff units which are behind. I turned my unit over here, my foot guard, and shot the line infantry, but now they are approaching, and this is the final stage of the game. I'm sending in my my melee troops as well as my Brandenburg Uhlans over here. Unfortunately, right in this second, my musketeers are out of ammunition in front of the life guard of foot, which is also out of ammunition in the second, but and I did not. Got a charge off, and I used my last rally now, but I get countercharged by the Kemachini series. So this is quite bad. I charged the line infantry with my small Brandenburg Uhlan unit here, and I target the Kemachini series back now to be able to stop them from chasing my guard infantry. My musketeers obviously did not make it in melee, and my other musketeer unit is also on the edge of breaking point. But Theodor's units and the Dina's line also are out of the game. My Brandenburg Uhlans charge through the line infantry, and yeah, they were obviously not able to kill the Kemachini series, but I killed the small units of Sweden here, apart from this one, and my musketeers over here are also on the edge of breaking point, and I had to retreat my guards once again, and Dina sent more troops over here, and I sent back my Brandenburg Uhlans, which only suffered 3 main casualties so far in all those attacks. So this was really a great job by my cavalry. But I was not able to kill that Swedish general, which would have been quite, yeah, a good thing for us. And Athos used the time of Dina not being around on the top anymore to get on the top of the ridge, but unfortunately has only his 2 musketeers from the left and no guard infantry anymore, and I tried to support him with my Prussian musketeers. So we need to annihilate Dina's force now. I managed finally to kill Theodor's force, more or less. He has only his 29 line infantry and his general staff, but yeah, they still hold the winning zone. We have 9 minutes to go, so we need to attack. We need to push them back or destroy their force. I did not manage to kill the sword unit. Both of them are still in the 30s. Another shot on the musketeers, which are apparently out of ammunition. Dina did not take the bait and did not shoot the 17th regiment. And the musketeers are shooting the square, and the general is almost out of the game, unfortunately. My musketeers are shooting, but they can't make much of a difference here. And my 2 guard infantry and my Brandenburg Uhlans are incoming to finally face the middle area troops. I'm out of ammunition, obviously, with my 47, and I try to make square, but unfortunately they formed it on the left side instead of just in front, and the Janissaries charged my units over here. Dina does a good job in fighting off the Prussians and Russians and the Russian cavalry, and my foot guard is down to 25 and will rout soon. I still try with my 12 Uhlans to do as much damage as I can and destroy the Kemachini series. I was able to do that finally, both with this unit, but 21 of them are still around on this side, and now finally my 7 Brandenburg Uhlans are out of the game. And my general comes up to meet. I should have probably used him a bit earlier, but my 43 guard infantry is outnumbered. They killed the Kimachini series finally, but the 83 line would just have been too much. And also Dina won the fight against Athos, small units over here, and my musketeers, and brings his troops over. So this is the end also of my Prussian forces. I tried everything, but this is the end. So they managed to do what they wanted. They tied with us, so it's they won 2 games and we won 2 games, and yeah, they have very good chances in the tournament now to proceed into the from the group stage into the knockout stage. Yeah, this was a very bad nation picking for us. We used France somewhere where we should not have used it, and yeah, this battle would have we would have in this battle we would have had greater chances with France on position 2 because of stakes and intimidating factors of old guards, etc. Than we had with Russia. But obviously we did not have France anymore, so Dina did a wonderful job by pushing with his Ottoman build and his cavalry spam of 8 cavalry. So we see 1446 kills by him. That's very nice. And I guess the swords also performed pretty good, and he made them survive very long, so nice job by him. And Theodore, in fact, did also his job. He did not kill that much, but yeah, he took the winning zone area, and yeah, that's it. My foot guard did kill a lot of troops here, and my Prussian Fusiliers as well. My third, actually all of my foot guards did pretty good. My Brandenburg Uhlans killed 78, so that's quite nice as well. But my Tovachis and Lancers here were used as tactical cavalries to stop him from forcing me into squares and forcing squares themselves. So this is why my other cavalry units don't have that many kills. So yeah, well done by them. And yeah, I will upload another game from the next matchup against Silky and Goldie from next weekend. So thanks for watching and see you.